Have you ever wondered why today, right now, you somehow found this video? Out of millions of messages floating out there, why did your ears stop here and your heart skip a different kind of beat? Nothing is random. The universe never sends its signal to the wrong soul. Aries, what you're about to hear isn't just numbers, it's the key that can open the door to your destiny. And when you're ready to step through, let me guide you into the very first chapter where the universe begins to speak directly to you. Close your eyes for a moment, Aries, and just listen. Maybe you'll feel something gentle, like a whisper carried from far away. A sound not from the outside, but rising from deep within your own heart. Some call it intuition, others call it a sign. But today, I want to call it something simpler. The voice of the universe. If you're hearing these words now, it's not by chance. Chance is only what people call it when they don't believe in miracles. Every moment is placed with purpose. Every soul is guided to the right message at the right time. And you, Aries, are here not for entertainment, but to receive something written especially for you. Life often convinces us we're just a grain of sand lost in a vast desert. But the truth is, you carry a fire inside you, the Aries fire, a light strong enough to guide not only your path, but also those walking beside you. Yes, sometimes that fire is hidden under doubt, under failure, under the weight of worry. But the universe never lets real light die. It waits for you to return, to touch it again, and to let it burn bright. I've asked myself many times, why do some people seem to receive opportunities at exactly the right moment while others struggle endlessly? And the answer I've found is this: it's the openness of the heart. When a heart is ready, life shifts. The right message, the right person, the right door appears. Today, Aries, you are listening with such a heart. And that is why this moment, not tomorrow, not someday, but now is the time. You may have walked through long seasons of challenge, feeling luck was never on your side. But look closer. Haven't you noticed that after every fall, you stood taller? Haven't you seen how every loss, every ending has quietly prepared you for a new beginning? The rhythms of the universe are not for the mind to grasp, but for the heart to feel. Aries, you were not born to live a quiet, ordinary life. Your pioneer spirit was meant to step first, to open roads, to walk into places no one has dared to go. And for that very reason, the universe has chosen you to carry a message. The lucky numbers Baba Vanga left behind are not random games of chance. They are keys, meant to open a new cycle of abundance for you. Inside each number is the heartbeat of the universe, a guiding light, a lesson with human depth. They remind you that fortune doesn't come from desperate prayers, but from the harmony between human will and divine support. When you trust, when you act with a clear and honest heart, the universe responds with opportunities beyond your wildest dreams. This is not only a story about money or winning the lottery. It's a story about faith, about rebirth, about the truth that every soul carries its own code, a key to the door that belongs only to them. And now you are standing right at that threshold. Take a pause, place your hand on your chest and feel your heartbeat. Every beat is proof that you still have time to change, power to rebuild, and the ability to reignite the flame that once dimmed. Today, the universe is offering you its signs to begin again. Do not rush. Take a deep breath, because what's about to be revealed is not just a story about a blind prophet of the past, but a message whispered from beyond the unseen veil. A call from a soul who saw further than most, who foresaw the turning points of humanity. And within that secret legacy, she left a gift, just for you, Aries. So now, walk with me into the story of Baba Vanga, the blind woman of the Bulgarian mountains who saw further than anyone. A woman whose words were etched not only into history, but into hearts, into destinies, into the lives of every sign of the zodiac. And among them, Aries, you will hear your name. She was born in a remote mountain village of Bulgaria, where endless wheat fields bent with the wind, carrying the scent of damp earth and wildflowers. From childhood, she was different. An accident took her eyesight, yet at the same time, it opened another doorway, the doorway to see beyond the veil that separates the visible from the invisible. People called her by many names, But the one that stayed in human memory is Baba Vanga, the seer of Eastern Europe, the woman whose prophecies once made the whole world shiver with both awe and fear. Most people know Baba Vanga for her visions of wars, of global upheavals, of the days when humanity trembled before trials. But very few know that, hidden deep within her life, she left another legacy more subtle, more secret, and perhaps more human. It was a set of energetic codes she entrusted to each zodiac sign. Not empty promises, but living vibrations, numbers that resonated with the unique frequency of every soul. I believe this was her most precious legacy, because it wasn't just about the fate of nations, but about each individual life, each lonely seeker searching for a path through the maze of existence. It's like walking into an ancient temple surrounded by statues and stone walls and suddenly finding a small line carved into the rock. You know in your heart it was written for you. That's what Baba Vanga's numbers feel like. In the vast universe, no soul is ever abandoned. Every person, whether in poverty, loneliness, or in the noise of modern life, carries a key. That key is their personal frequency, the unique energy Baba Vanga could see. And she left it in the simplest form of all, numbers. For Aries, the pioneer of the zodiac, these numbers carry an even deeper meaning. Because Aries is the warrior, the one who steps first, who dares to do what others will not. And yet, it is also Aries who often stumbles, who knows loss, who carries wounds not easily healed. These codes are not just promises of wealth or luck, they are healing. A gentle hand from the universe reminding you, you are never alone on this path. I remember once in a conversation, someone asked me, if every soul has a key, why do so many spend their whole life lost? The answer is simple, because not everyone has the patience or faith to see the key already in their hand. We search outside when the secret lies within our own heart, within our intuition. Baba Vanga gave the signs, but it is up to each person to step forward, to believe, to open the door. The human lesson here is clear. No life is ever forgotten. These numbers don't just stand for money, they stand for opportunity, for rebirth, for new beginnings after doors seem to have closed forever. And when you accept them, you also accept responsibility. The responsibility to live in a way worthy of the gift the universe has offered. So pause for a moment. Imagine how many times you've stood at a crossroads, unsure where to go, convinced there was no miracle left for you. And then one day you hear this message. That's when you realize life has been quietly moving, arranging, guiding you back to its rhythm. The universe has not abandoned you. It never has, and it never will. And when your heart gently opens to receive, the numbers Baba Vanga left begin to glow like sparks in the dark. They guide you. They lift you. They remind you that ahead, there is still a wide and open path. But the real question is this: how do we look at these numbers not as marks on paper, but as doorways within? How do we understand that they are not random strokes of luck, but guiding lights for your soul? To answer, we must look deeper into the nature of these numbers, how they connect with your intuition, your creative will, your sudden turning points in life. And it is there that you'll see why these numbers are not just to be read, but to be lived with, to be felt, to be walked in rhythm with. There are moments in life when you sit alone in a quiet room, staring out the window, and wonder why everything seems to be against you. The dreams you once held close, the plans you trusted, vanish like smoke. You feel like you've poured out all your strength, tried every road, and all that's left is a heavy silence. And then, just when you think hope has slipped away, something small appears. A sudden phone call. A door you thought was shut cracks open just enough to let a ray of light through. A hand reaching out to you at exactly the right moment. Aries, how many times have you thought about giving up, and then out of nowhere a spark appeared? The numbers Baba Vanga left behind are that spark. They are not meaningless marks to jot down and forget. They are waves of vibration, sacred codes sent by the universe, meant to fit the lock of your destiny, to open a door you never thought possible. Imagine these numbers as musical notes. One note alone may not mean much, but together they form a melody, a rhythm that moves the heart. That is what these numbers do. They weave an invisible symphony that connects you to the frequency of luck, of opportunity, of transformation. On this journey, you don't need to understand every theory or science behind them. What matters is that you feel them. When a number repeats in your life on a receipt, a license plate, or in a dream, it isn't random. It's the universe whispering, "Pay attention. This is my language. This is the code meant for you." If you let your heart grow still, you'll notice the numbers aren't only about money. They're about faith, about finding the courage to rise again, about knowing that even in the darkest night, an unseen hand is guiding you. And I believe it's in the very moment you open your heart to receive that the energy of these numbers truly comes alive. Maybe you've asked yourself, why don't I ever get lucky like others? But have you realized luck doesn't just knock? It needs you to open the door. The moment you choose to believe this message, you've already flipped the first switch. When you act with faith, you set a new current in motion. And when you dare to tell the universe, "I'm ready," energy begins to move in ways you've never seen before. Aries, if you're listening now and you feel a pull in your chest, let it become action. Write in the comments, abundance. Don't treat it as just a word. It's your commitment to yourself, your declaration to the universe that you're ready for a new chapter. From that moment on, you're not just a listener, you're the one activating the message in your own life. In the darkness of hard days, even the smallest light is enough to show the way. And when you welcome these numbers with trust, they become a lighthouse, guiding you through the long nights. They whisper, "You are not alone, your path is already marked with points of light." So let your heart soften, take a breath. There is no need to rush, no need to fear, just open yourself. Because just beyond the thin veil of doubt, a treasure is waiting for you to touch. And once you realize these numbers carry the rhythm of life itself, the language of the universe, a question will rise within you. What is the very first door they will open? Which number is the beginning? The one waiting to awaken in you the forgotten power of imagination and creation. 3. A number that may seem simple, but within it lies an ancient power few ever pause to feel. When Vanga entrusted this number to Aries, she wasn't offering a mathematical symbol. She was holding up a mirror to your soul, to those born under the flame of the pioneer. 3 is the first beat of the song of creation. It is the thread connecting imagination to the material world. It is the reminder that every miracle begins with a single, fragile idea. Think back across your life, those nights you lay awake, holding onto a thought only you could see. Maybe it was the dream of a business, the vision of an artistic project, or simply the hope of rewriting your story. How many times did you push it aside, telling yourself it was just fantasy, too far from reality? But Aries, you weren't born to turn away from dreams. You came here to bring them into being. The number 3 comes as a message. Your imagination is your most fertile soil. On that soil, the seeds of your will can grow into towering, unshakable trees. All it asks is that you plant belief and water it with action. One day, you'll look back and see that the dream you once scribbled quickly in a notebook has become a home, a career, or a new life you now hold in your hands. I believe when a person dares to believe in their own worth, the universe responds by opening doors that once stayed locked. Many think success is luck. But the truth is, it begins the moment you declare, "My idea has value." That is the instant you hand power back to yourself, and the first door to prosperity swings open. 3 is also a number of connection, a flow unbroken between past, present, and future. It whispers that every experience, even the failures, can be fuel for creation. A painful story can become a book that inspires. A financial mistake can become the lesson that sustains lasting wealth. Nothing you've lived through is wasted. Everything waits to be transformed into light. Remember the moment you did something others called reckless. Maybe you started a new path no one believed in, or you chose a road completely different from the crowd. In that moment, you were living in the energy of 3. And you see, it was those bold choices that carved out your true image, the Aries who refuses to stand still. The lesson of this number is clear. Your ideas are not just dreams. They can become real opportunities, real money, real life. The world is not short of great thinkers. It is short of those who dare to believe that their dream is worthy of reality. So Aries, if you're still hesitating, still hiding an idea in your heart, give it the chance to step into the light. Write it down, share it, take even the smallest step toward it. Because only when you ignite imagination will you see the path to prosperity laid out before you. On this journey, each number is like a lantern along the road. 3 is just the beginning, the first flame that awakens your creative force. But once that light burns, it will call to another kind of light, deeper, stronger. Not only a fire of the mind, but an awakening of intuition, a vision beyond reason. And when you touch it, you'll finally understand why the universe keeps whispering in your ear, trust, and dare to take the next step. An invisible door begins to open before you. It makes no sound. It doesn't shine with the brilliance you once imagined. But as you step closer, you see it leads to a world reason cannot fully reach, the world of intuition, where what logic cannot explain suddenly feels as clear as the morning light. And there, the number 11 appears. Not as 2 digits side by side, but as a twin gateway, a parallel path linking the visible and the unseen. Aries, you know the force of fire, the strength that pushes you to lead and decide with courage. Yet sometimes, that fire convinces you that you must fight everything with reason, with muscle, with sheer willpower. But there is another force that has always been with you, quiet, steady, and unshakable. It is intuition, like a small spring of water, not loud, not rushing, but able to carve through the hardest stone, weaving into the deepest corners of your soul. The number 11 is called the master number because it lifts intuition to a higher realm. It amplifies what you feel and opens visions the eyes cannot see. Think of all the times you felt a strange pull, as if something quietly tugged you this way instead of that. Or the moments when a soft inner voice said, "Wait a little longer, don't rush," or the opposite, "Take this chance now." And when you listened, you avoided a mistake or walked through a golden door. That is not illusion. That is the language of 11. Remember the day you suddenly chose a different route home and found you just missed a massive traffic jam, or the moment you felt you had to call a friend, only to discover they were in crisis and needed you more than ever. That is how intuition works, silent yet miraculous. And the number 11 is the amplifier, making those whispers louder, clearer, more present in your life. The lesson of this number is simple but deeply profound. Never dismiss your inner knowing. Because sometimes the choices that defy logic are the ones that lead you to hidden treasure. The modern world teaches us that everything must be proven, every step justified by reason. But the universe doesn't move only by mathematics. It also moves by rhythm, the rhythm of the soul, the vibrations only the heart can hear. Aries, you are strong in the world outside, but your greatest strength lies in the stillness of your heart when you listen inwardly. It is there you no longer need to fight, no longer need to prove. You simply trust. Trust that the universe is speaking to you in delicate signs. Trust that you are not carrying everything alone. And when you trust, the number 11 becomes your third eye, opening a vision of the path ahead with clarity and depth. I believe if each of us learned to honor our intuition, this world would see fewer mistakes, fewer heartbreaks, for intuition never deceives. It only guides us gently, reminding us to return home to ourselves. It is the priceless gift no school can teach you, yet it beats within every heart. So allow yourself to listen. Let silence become your companion. Let your dreams turn into messages. Let your heart tell you what reason cannot. And when you do, you will not only see the path, you will glimpse your true mission along this journey. And then, once the inner eyes are open, once intuition is guiding the way, you'll discover that the next number does not come to shine alone. It arrives to connect you with others, to turn companionship into strength, and to transform cooperation into the bridge that carries you toward success. There are moments in life when we believe we are strong enough to walk alone, strong enough to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. Especially you, Aries, the pioneer warrior, always at the front, always ready to prove your strength and courage. But there comes a time when you realize No one creates a perfect symphony by themselves. One instrument can play its notes, but it takes the whole orchestra to stir the heart. And that's when the number 28 appears as a reminder of the power of collaboration. 2 and 8, together they create a flow both gentle and unshakable. The number 2 speaks of connection, listening, and harmony. The number 8 carries the energy of material success, stability, and the cycles of wealth. When they unite, they whisper this truth: blessings double when you learn to walk with others, when you choose to hold hands instead of gripping the sword alone. Aries, if you think back, aren't your most memorable moments the ones you shared, not the ones you conquered alone? Perhaps it was a friend who believed in you when no one else did, a partner who built something with you from nothing, or a family that stood quietly behind you so you could step forward. The number 28 teaches that true prosperity isn't what you keep for yourself, but what you can share, what you can multiply. And then the energy shifts, and the number 34 flashes into your life like lightning tearing through the night. It comes fast, bright, unexpected, and changes everything in an instant. The number 3 carries the spark of creativity. The number 4 brings foundation, structure, and reality. Together they form 34, the symbol of sudden turning points, the kind of fateful opportunities that arrive when you least expect them. Imagine walking down an old familiar road, so ordinary you expect nothing new from it. Then suddenly an invitation arrives. An idea bursts into flame in your mind, or a meeting occurs that changes the entire direction of your path. That is the gift of 34. Not to frighten you, but to shake you awake from the cycle of monotony, to show you opportunities you hadn't dared to imagine. Some people spend their whole lives only dreaming of such a miracle twist. But Aries, 34 is here to tell you, it will happen for you. It will arrive when you are least prepared, and yet most in need. The only task is to keep your heart open, your mind wide, and your eyes sharp enough to recognize opportunity even when it wears the disguise of the ordinary. The lessons of 28 and 34 weave together into one powerful stream. Wealth and prosperity are not born from individual strength alone. They come through resonance with others, and through those fateful turning points the universe gifts you. When you choose the right companions, and when you dare to embrace the unexpected, even the smallest seed can become a miracle. No success is ever truly solitary. The right connections at the right time are like notes in a great symphony. Together, they turn a simple melody into something radiant and unforgettable. And when that harmony meets the sudden lightning strike of destiny, the explosion of light opens an entirely new sky for you. Think about it. When you remember your greatest turning points, wasn't there always someone beside you? Or a sudden event that shifted your direction? This is how the universe works, pulling you from the safety of your comfort zone so you don't just survive. You live fully, you live abundantly. And once this truth has settled into your heart, you'll understand that prosperity isn't only about seeking or seizing. It's also about holding, protecting, and nurturing what has been given so it can continue to grow. And that is when another number steps forward, carrying the energy of protection and reminding you that every treasure needs a strong shelter. In a wide garden, you can choose to keep the seed clenched in your hand, afraid that planting it in the earth will mean losing it. But a seed never bears fruit when it is hidden away. It only becomes life when it is given to the soil, to the water, to the light. And in the same way, money in our lives is like those seeds. It was not born to sit locked away in a box. It was meant to be planted, to nourish, to expand into whole fields of blessings. Here, the numbers 52 and 66 appear like two pillars holding steady and enriching your financial journey. The number 52 is an invisible shield. It is not loud, it doesn't promise triumphant victories, but it protects you from losses you may not even see coming. 5 carries the energy of change, of flexibility. 2 carries balance, perspective, thoughtful consideration. When they unite, 52 becomes the strength that steadies you through financial storms, shielding you from reckless temptations, from impulsive spending you might regret. It teaches you that true wealth is not only about how you earn it, is also about how you keep. But keeping does not mean clinging tightly to everything. You keep so that you have a foundation, and from that foundation, you can give wisely. You can offer without being exploited, without being swept away by unmeasured generosity. Aries, you live passionately, you love wholeheartedly, and sometimes you give too quickly without weighing the cost. The number 52 reminds you, love must walk hand in hand with wisdom. Not every door you open is meant for everyone to enter, but for those truly worthy to be invited in. And then comes the number 66, and everything grows softer, wider, more open. This is the number of overflowing prosperity, of a heart so full it longs to share. 6 is family, nourishment, the warmth of an embrace. Doubled, it becomes 66, the symbol of multiplied blessings, of abundance spilling outward, of the shared table where everyone sits and feels safe. Aries, have you ever imagined the moment when you hold more in your hands than you need? Not as selfish luxury, but as a chance to turn money into love, into gifts for your parents, into help for your children, into support for a struggling friend, into a hand for a community in need. When you give with joy, the universe responds by giving back to you many times over, not only with money, but with peace, with happiness too deep to name. Picture it. You use your wealth to pay off a friend's debt, to help a child stay in school, to open a new door for someone in despair. In that moment, money turns into light. And that light does not fade, it spreads from one to another, until it circles back to shine on your own path. This is the great lesson 52 and 66 want you to understand. Hold so you may be steady, give so the blessing may expand. Hold your foundation strong. Give so you become part of the greater cycle of grace. When you live with that spirit, money will no longer be a burden or a worry, it will become a tool to plant joy. Aries, pause for a moment and ask yourself, if tomorrow the universe placed a great gift in your hands, how would you use it? Would you keep it only for yourself? Or would you let it flow outward further than you ever imagined? Share it in the comments. How would you use your wealth to bless your loved ones or your community? Because every story you tell is not only a promise to yourself, it can become inspiration for others listening alongside you. And when you allow yourself to imagine, to write it out, you are planting the first seeds in that field of abundance. One day when you look back, you will see the place where you planted has blossomed, borne fruit, and you will find yourself walking through a harvest full of joy. And in that warmth, another signal begins to rise, like music building toward its crescendo. It doesn't speak only of keeping or giving, but of rebirth, of beginnings after loss, of a hidden number Baba Vanga held back as the final key for those truly ready. There is a number Baba Vanga kept until the very end, like a secret not meant for everyone but only for those truly ready. That number is 19. At first glance it seems simple, but hidden inside is the full circle of the universe. The number 1 is beginnings, the seed, the first breakthrough. The number 9 is endings, the harvest, the closing of a long journey. Together, 19 becomes the symbol of a complete cycle, where every ending is only a door opening to the next beginning. Aries, your life has walked through valleys of darkness more than once, places where hope seemed to vanish. Moments where you thought you had lost everything, with nothing left to hold on to. But in those very moments of despair, the universe was quietly preparing a new sunrise for you. The number 19 arrives to remind you, even when you feel empty, deep within, a new seed has already been planted. One day that seed will break through the heavy soil and rise into life. Pause for a moment, feel this truth. Failure is not the end, loss is not a final period. They are preparation, teaching you how to stand stronger, how to be grateful, and how to open your arms for something greater. The number 19 is the universe's promise that no one is forgotten, that not a single tear is wasted. Every tear waters the soil for a green shoot that will bloom tomorrow. Maybe you are sitting now in a quiet room, listening with a heart still heavy with worry. But believe this, you are entering a new cycle. A cycle not just of survival, but of rebirth. A cycle where what was lost makes space for opportunities brighter and more enduring. And Aries, the number 19 is your bridge from shadow to light, from despair to hope, from loss to abundance. Engrave this in your heart. Every ending carries the seed of a beginning. Do not fear when one door closes, because at that very moment another door has already opened. Do not cling to the past, because the future waits with open arms. The universe is fair, and it always finds the right time to place in your hands exactly what you need. Aries, you are not alone on this path. The numbers, the codes, the messages have been sent to support you. But most of all, your own heart is the true key to every door. Thank you, Aries, for listening with your whole heart. May you always keep your spirit clear, your faith strong, and your hands open to receive every blessing. May abundance always flow to you.